The rain drummed a relentless rhythm on the roof of my pickup, the windshield wipers struggling to keep pace with the downpour. I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles whitened, the leather creaking under my palms. This isn't happening. The thought looped in my head like a broken record. Across the street, the porch light flickered, a sickeningly familiar yellow glow that had once felt like home. Now, it burned like a brand. Her Jeep pulled in, tires crunching over the gravel driveway. I held my breath as she stepped out, her silhouette framed by the car's interior light. She laughed, a sound that used to curl around my spine like a warm embrace, and then he emerged. Jake. Her brother. Or so I'd thought. Tall, with that cocky smirk he'd worn since high school, his arm brushing hers as they navigated the rain. But there was nothing brotherly in the way he lingered close, his hand grazing her lower back as they hurried toward the house. My chest constricted. 2 weeks. I'd been gone 2 weeks, sweating through Louisiana humidity to finish a job early, desperate to surprise her. Instead, I'd surprised myself, sitting here, a lovesick fool turned voyeur. The dashboard clock blinked 2:14 a.m. When had she started lying? When had Jake started looking at her like that? I wanted to storm across the street, to demand answers. But something held me back, a primal instinct, maybe, the way prey freezes before the predator strikes. Instead, I watched. Watched her fumble with the key, watched him press a hand to the small of her back to steady her. Watched them disappear inside, the door clicking shut like a verdict. The rain hissed against the truck. My phone buzzed, a text from Lisa, sent hours ago. Miss you. Drive safe. I crushed the phone in my fist, the screen spiderwebbing under the pressure. Morning light did nothing to soften the ache in my skull. I'd barely slept, replaying scenes I couldn't unsee, the dip of the porch steps under Jake's weight, the way Lisa's laugh had carried across the wet lawn. Now, she stood at the coffee maker, her back to me, humming a tune I didn't recognize. The domesticity of it, her faded bathrobe, the steam curling from her mug, made me want to scream. Jake came by to fix the sink, she said, her voice too casual. She turned, offering a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Hazel irises, usually warm as caramel, now flickered like something trapped. My gaze dropped to her hands. They trembled. Funny, I said, leaning against the counter. I didn't know he knew a wrench from a waffle iron. Her laugh was brittle. He's full of surprises. So are you. I nodded at the trash can, half hidden by the pantry door. A crumpled receipt peeked out, its edges singed from the toaster fire she'd accidentally started last week. Room 12. 9:47 p.m. The Sunset Motel. My gut twisted. We'd made love there once, years ago, her nails digging into my shoulders as rain battered the roof. Now, the memory felt tainted. That night, I cornered her in the garage. The scent of motor oil and her lavender shampoo tangled in the air. You and Jake? She paled, a china doll cracking. Tears spilled before she could speak. Tom, it's not, he needed help. The loan sharks, he's in too deep. Loan sharks? My voice rose. Or you? He stole from them. Used our savings to cover it. They'll kill him, Tom. Her hands clutched my shirt, desperation in every line of her body. They want $200,000. We have to. We? I stepped back, her touch suddenly scalding. You're his partner now. Her silence was a death knell. Jake strolled in the next afternoon, reeking of arrogance and stale cigarettes. His eyes locked onto Lisa, a predator savoring prey. You tell him? She flinched. He smirked, leaning against the doorframe. Let me spell it out for Big Brother. The loan sharks? Fiction. I've been skimming from my crew, laundering it through your precious shop. He tossed a ledger onto the table, my ledger, filled with falsified invoices. If you don't play along, I'll bury you. Fraud, tax evasion, pick a charge. Lisa stepped forward, her voice pleading. Tom, please. It's the only way. The only way? I stared at her, the woman who'd shared my bed for 8 years. The woman who'd whispered vows in the dark. Now, she stood shoulder to shoulder with the man unraveling my life, her loyalty severed like a frayed wire. Jake chuckled. Ah, don't look so broken, Tom. She's always been mine. You were just convenient. Something in me snapped. I lunged, but Lisa intercepted, her small frame a barrier between us. Her hands pressed against my chest, tears streaming down her face. Don't. He'll destroy you. Like you did? I spat. She recoiled, and in that moment, I saw it, a flicker of guilt, raw and real. But it was too late. The trust was gone, replaced by a hollow fury. I played along. Days blurred into a dangerous dance. I laundered Jake's dirty money, my fingers trembling as I doctored invoices. But I also recorded every conversation, every threat. Jake, ever the narcissist, left fingerprints everywhere, boasting about his genius to Lisa, laughing as he outlined his escape plan. The feds'll never touch me, he sneered one night, sprawled on my couch. Not with your prints all over this. Lisa sat rigid beside him, her eyes hollow. When our gazes met, she mouthed, I'm sorry. The night of the payoff, I drove to the warehouse, the FBI wire itching under my shirt. Jake stood by a duffel bag stuffed with cash, grinning like a devil. Smart move, Tom. Now we're. Freeze. Agents swarmed in, weapons drawn. Jake went for a gun, my gun, kept in the glove compartment. Shots rang out. He crumpled, the duffel falling like a struck piñata. Lisa screamed. I didn't. She left while I slept. A note on the pillow, I'm sorry. I had no choice. I tore the house apart, finding the key in her jewelry box. The safety deposit box held photos, Jake shaking hands with my crew, grinning over stacks of cash. My friends had been in on it. But the real knife came when the FBI agent handed me a file. Jake wasn't Lisa's brother. He was her ex-husband. The marriage certificate a forgery. The affair, the threats, a con to gut me. Why? I asked the agent, my voice dead. He shrugged. Love, maybe. Or survival. She took a hell of a risk, turning on him. Montana winters are quiet. The only sound here is the roar of the engine I'm rebuilding, the crackle of the fire in the hearth. I sold the shop, left the life that wasn't mine anymore. Lisa's in witness protection. Jake's in a supermax, rotting. The crew? Disappeared. Funny. I don't hate her. She saved me. If she hadn't betrayed me, I'd still be blind, trusting ghosts. But sometimes, when the northern lights bleed across the sky, I wonder, did she ever love me? Or was I just another mark? The answer, like her, is gone. Some questions don't have endings. Just echoes. The echo. The package arrived on a Tuesday, wrapped in brown paper and nostalgia. No return address. Just my name scrawled in a hand I'd memorized in the dark. I almost burned it. But the scent gave it away, lavender and motor oil, a ghost in the flesh. My fingers shook as I peeled back the layers, revealing a leather-bound journal. The first page bore a single sentence, you asked if it was real. Let me show you. Lisa's voice flooded my mind, raw and trembling. I sank into the armchair by the fire, the journal open like a wound. March 14, 2016. He came to me today. Jake. Not with threats, but tears. They'll kill me, Lee. You know what I owe. I wanted to hate him. God, I did. But he's still the boy who taught me to ride a bike, who held my hair back when Mom's chemo made me vomit. I told Tom the sink was broken. I didn't know he'd come home early. I didn't know Jake would. The entry blurred. A water stain bloomed beside the words, "I'm sorry." July 2, 2017. Tom's working late again. I traced the scar on his shoulder tonight, the one from our trip to the gorge. He laughed, said I was being sentimental. If he knew. If he knew how many times I almost told him. Jake's men are watching the house. They left a photo of us at the fair, a bullseye drawn over Tom's face. Jake says it's leverage. I say it's a death sentence. A Polaroid slipped from the pages, Lisa and me on the Ferris wheel, her head on my shoulder, sunlight in her hair. On the back, the last good day. October 31, 2018. Jake told me to seduce him. To keep Tom close. I couldn't. Not that. So I let him believe the worst, that I'd chosen Jake, that the money was for greed, not survival. Every lie was a knife. But if Tom hated me, he'd live. Do you understand? I had to make you hate me. The fire popped. Ash swirled like the snow outside. December 25, 2019. He left a gift under the tree, a wrench engraved with my initials. I cried until the pages bled ink. I wanted to tell him. About the nights Jake's men followed me, about the forged documents in my purse. But love isn't a shield, Tom. It's a target. And I couldn't let them aim at you. The final entry was dated the day she vanished. I'm not your wife. Not your mark. Just a woman who loved you in a world that demanded collateral. Burn this. Burn me. But know this, every "I love you" was true. Even the ones I never said. The journal fell to my lap. Outside, wolves howled, a sound as lonely as my bones. I didn't burn it. Instead, I drove to the river, the journal clutched to my chest. At the water's edge, I let the current take it, pages fluttering like surrender. Some sins drown. Others become the air we breathe. The first snowfall in Montana always felt like a funeral. The world muffled, buried under a shroud of white. I stood at the edge of my property, the weight of Lisa's journal still heavy in my coat pocket. The river had swallowed her words, but the ache remained, a phantom limb, throbbing in the cold. A truck rumbled up the drive. Unusual. Few visitors braved these parts. The man who stepped out was broad-shouldered, his face carved from weather and regret. Tom Price? I nodded, wiping grease from my hands. Agent Cole. He flashed a badge, though I already knew. The FBI hadn't forgotten me, they just stopped calling. Got a minute? We sat at the kitchen table, steam rising from mugs of coffee I didn't offer. Cole's eyes flicked to the journal's outline in my pocket. She sent that to you. Not a question. Surveillance still part of your job? He smirked. Old habits. And she's unpredictable. We thought you should know. Know what? Cole leaned forward, the firelight catching the scar on his temple, a souvenir from Jake's arrest. She's resurfaced. Not in witness protection. Gone dark, actually. Last sighting? Wyoming, 2 weeks ago. With a burner phone and a bus ticket to Canada. My pulse roared. You think she's running from you, or them? Does it matter? He slid a photo across the table. Lisa, blurry and distant, boarding a greyhound. Her hair was dyed black, a scarf hiding her face. But her posture, the way she clutched her bag, it was her. I pushed the photo back. What do you want from me? Confirmation. Is she a victim or a fugitive? Because if she's playing you again. Again? I laughed, bitter. You read her journal. She played everyone. Cole stood, his chair scraping. Then you understand. Love's a con when the stakes are life or death. That night, I packed a bag. Not for Canada, for the storage unit in Billings where I'd stashed Jake's ledger. The one I'd told the FBI about, and the one I hadn't. The drive was a blur of taillights and guilt. What are you doing, Tom? The voice in my head sounded like hers. The unit was undisturbed. I pried open the rusted lock, the smell of old paper and mildew hitting me. Boxes lined the walls, tax records, shop manuals, and a single safe. Inside the safe, a flash drive. Jake's insurance. Photos of the crew, bank accounts, a video of Lisa pleading into the camera, Tom, if you're watching this, I'm dead or you hate me. But there was more. A second video, timestamped the night of the warehouse raid. Jake, bloodied and handcuffed, grinning into the camera. You think she saved you? She sold you, Tom. The feds? Her idea. She's not your wife, she's a ghost. And you're just another mark. The screen went black. Then, a final frame, a marriage certificate. Lisa and Jake. Voided. Annulled, 2015. I drove until the road ended. The Canadian border loomed, a slash of light in the dark. My phone buzzed, a one-time number. A text, don't come. Let me be your ghost. I turned the truck around. Montana's winter clawed at the cabin windows, howling like a thing possessed. I sat at the kitchen table, the flash drive cold in my palm. The fireplace crackled, but the chill came from within. Jake's words looped in my head, she's not your wife, she's a ghost. Yet ghosts don't send texts. I plugged in the drive. Folder 01, Insurance. Bank statements, photos, voice memos of the crew admitting to fraud. Evidence to bury me, or save me. Folder 02, Lee. My breath caught. A video, timestamped the night before Jake's arrest. Lisa, her face bruised, eyes wild. If you're watching this, Jake's dead. Or I am. She laughed, broken. He made me choose, Tom. Him or you. I picked you, but... God, I'm so sorry. The screen shifted, security footage of our house. Jake dragging her from the bathroom, her screams muffled. You think I wanted this? He snarled at the camera. She's mine. Always was. Then, a document. A life insurance policy, beneficiary, Tom Price. Dated the week Jake arrived. The phone rang. Blocked number. Walk away, a voice hissed, Jake's crew, still loyal. Or we'll finish what he started. I hung up. Packed the Glock I'd kept hidden under the floorboards. 3 days later, a letter arrived. No stamp. Hand delivered. Tom. I never stopped running. Not from you, from them. The life insurance? Jake's idea. If you die, he gets rich, he said. Poetic. I almost let him kill me. Almost. But I remembered your hands, steady on mine when I thought I'd drown. You deserve more than a ghost. Burn the drive. Live. P.S. Check the porch. Under the welcome mat, a key. To a safety deposit box in Helena. Inside, a passport, cash, and a photo of us at the Grand Canyon, her smile real, her eyes clear. On the back, this was real. Choose me. I drove north. To Canada. To her. Or maybe to my grave. The border checkpoint appeared like a mirage, fluorescent lights cutting through the frozen dawn. My truck groaned as I slowed, the passport burning in my glove compartment. The agent leaned in, his breath a cloud. Purpose of visit? Tourism. The lie tasted metallic. He squinted at my hands, calloused, stained with motor oil. You a mechanic? Retired. He waved me through. Calgary was all steel and snow, a city built on secrets. I found her in a diner called The Last Mile, tucked in a booth by the window. Her hair was still black, her face thinner, but her eyes. Christ, those eyes. Tom. She stood, trembling. You came. I slid into the seat, my voice a growl. You left a hell of a trail. I had to be sure. She pushed a mug toward me, black coffee, no sugar. Just how I liked it. They're watching. Jake's men. They think I have the ledger. But you don't. She shook her head. You do. We talked in fragments, the kind that crack like bones. I didn't know about the insurance policy, she whispered. Not until the journal. Jake, he wanted you dead either way. The money was just a bonus. But you let me believe. I had to. She grabbed my hand, her grip desperate. If you'd known the truth, if you'd fought back, they'd have killed you. This way, you had the ledger. A way to fight back without them knowing you knew. I pulled away. And the passport? The photo? What's that, Lisa? Another con? No, tears cut through her mascara. A choice. Your choice. Walk away, or trust me. One last time. The diner door slammed open. 3 men in black parkas, eyes scanning the room. Lisa froze. Under the table, she hissed. Now. We dropped, bullets shattering the window. She yanked a gun from her purse, a .38, same model as mine. I told you they'd come. Who are they? I shouted, returning fire. Jake's ghosts. We fled into the alley, her hand in mine, the cold biting like teeth. A van idled at the end, no plates. She shoved me behind a dumpster, bullets pinging off metal. This is it, she panted. You wanted the truth? Here it is. Jake's alive. He faked the death. The FBI's in his pocket. The ledger's useless, it's all been laundered. Then why? Because I love you. She pressed the gun into my palm. End it. Choose. The van's headlights flooded the alley. A voice boomed, give us the girl, Tom. Walk away rich. Lisa's eyes searched mine, raw and pleading. Choose me. The van screeched closer. Lisa's breath came in ragged gasps, her back pressed to mine. You have one shot, she whispered. Take it. Take it. The words hung between us, a lifetime of trust and betrayal distilled into a trigger pull. The first man rounded the corner. I fired. He dropped. Lisa's gun barked twice. The second man crumpled. Then, silence. Headlights died. Engine cut. A new voice, slick as oil, hello, Lee. Jake emerged, flanked by 2 agents, FBI badges glinting. Alive. Whole. Corrupt. Tom. He smirked, eyes raking over the blood-stained snow. Still playing hero? Lisa stepped forward, her voice steady. It's over, Jake. The ledger's gone. The feds know you own half the bureau. He laughed. You think Tom sent it? He's too busy chasing ghosts. You're the ghost, I spat. The ledger was a copy. The real one's with a journalist. Your empire's ash. His grin faltered. Lisa moved like a striking snake, disarming the nearest agent. "Run, Tom." But I stood my ground. No more running. Bullets flew. Chaos erupted. Jake lunged for Lisa, a knife in his hand, the same one he'd held when he'd threatened her in our kitchen. Memory and rage collided. I tackled him, the knife skittering across ice. "Why?" I roared, slamming his head into the pavement. "Why her? Why us? She was mine," he spat, bloodied. "Before you, before the lies, she was mine." Lisa's voice cut through the fog. "No. I was never yours." Her gun trembled, aimed at Jake's heart. A shot rang out. Jake stilled. Lisa lowered the gun, her face a mask of anguish. "I'm sorry," she whispered, to him, to me, to the ghosts. The agents fled. The alley fell silent, save for the snow swallowing Jake's blood. We didn't speak as we drove north, away from the border, away from everything. At a remote cabin, she finally broke. "I killed him," she choked. "After all he did, I couldn't let him take you." I pulled her close, her tears soaking my shirt. "You had no choice. Didn't I?" She looked up, shattered. "I chose you, Tom. Every lie, every bullet, it was always you." Dawn crept in. The world was white and still. "We disappear," she said. "New names. New lives. Or we fight. Expose them all." I traced the scar on her wrist, a souvenir from Jake's lessons. "What do you want?" She hesitated. "To be yours. Without the shadows." We burned the passports, the ledger, the ghosts. And when the sun rose, we walked into it, together. The cabin in the Yukon was a postcard of isolation, snow-capped pines, a frozen lake, a life stripped bare. Lisa chopped firewood, her breath visible in the frigid air. I watched from the window, the weight of our silence pressing in. We'd agreed to no names, no past. But the ghosts lingered. She found me staring. "You regret it?" "Regret what?" "The truth?" I snapped. "Or that we're stuck playing house while the world burns?" Her eyes hardened. "You wanted answers. Now you have them." But the ledger's secrets gnawed at me. Had the journalist published it? Were we truly free? A drone hovered over the lake, too high for local wildlife. That night, the power failed. We huddled by the fire, the static of a police scanner crackling threats. "They're not here for us," Lisa insisted. "They're here for this." She held up a flash drive, new data. Jake's offshore accounts. The names of every corrupt agent. "It's time to end it. Or burn with it." She smiled, bitter. "You always did love a suicide mission. The town of Whitehorse was a mistake. We'd gone for supplies, too careless." A man bumped into Lisa at the pharmacy, whispered something. She paled. "Who was that?" I demanded later. "No one." But she left the cabin that night. I followed her to a payphone, watched her dial a number. "It's done," she said. "He's with me." The betrayal tasted like ashes. I confronted her at gunpoint. "Who are you working for? The FBI? Jake's ghost?" She didn't flinch. "You want the truth? Fine. The journalist who got the ledger? He's my brother. The one who really died. I needed you to hate me to keep you safe." "Safe from what?" "The people who killed him. The people who'll kill me if I don't deliver you." We drove to Anchorage in silence. At a warehouse, she handed me a bulletproof vest. "They want the drive. Give it to them. And then? Then we die. Or we live." Your call. The buyers arrived, faces hidden. Lisa stepped forward. I have the drive. But I want assurances. A voice, distorted, name your price. Tom walks. You never find him. The warehouse exploded. Lisa shoved me into a truck as bullets tore through the walls. Go. Go. I sped into the night, her blood on my hands. Why? I screamed. Because the drive's a fake, she gasped. The real one's with my brother's widow. She'll expose them, if I don't make it. We hid in a storm drain, her breath shallow. You asked if I ever loved you. Don't. It's why I did it. Every lie, every bullet, it was to keep you from becoming him. Jake's poison, it's in the blood. I couldn't let you drown in it. Then why leave? Because loving you was the only truth I had. And I couldn't watch you die for it. The FBI found us at dawn. Lisa stood between me and their guns. Take me. Let him go. Agent Cole stepped forward. Always the martyr, Lee. She turned to me, tears freezing on her cheeks. Choose, Tom. Live for both of us, or die here. I kissed her, once, hard. Then I ran. 3 years later. The cafe in Reykjavik was quiet, the clink of coffee cups a comfort. I'd heard whispers, a Pulitzer-winning expose, a faceless source. Then I saw her. Lisa, alive. Smiling at a child in her arms, a boy with my eyes. She mouthed, he's yours. The waiter placed a newspaper on my table. Headline, Price identity fraud ring exposed. Byline, L. Price. Her ring finger bore no jewelry. But around her neck hung a familiar chain, a flash drive, empty. Final twist. Lisa's entire journey was a meticulously crafted con to dismantle the corruption that killed her brother, using Tom's love as both weapon and shield. The child, a lie, a rented prop, masked her real victory. The drive contained Tom's confession, recorded during their final confrontation. By exposing his unwitting role in Jake's schemes, she'd freed them both. But as I stared at her, alive and radiant, I realized the cruelest twist. She'd loved me enough to save me, but not enough to stay.